watch the evolution. I hope that it inspires a new artist to celebrate the creativity that's within. But this has been a journey, you all. I want to thank the City of Jackson. I want to thank Pamela Gender and everyone at the Smith Robertson Museum and Cultural Center for their support. I have always seen this place as a beacon in the community. I've been coming here since I came to Jackson, Mississippi. And I have grown not just with textile arts by coming here, but I came here because this place is a resource for us. You want to know about Farrar Street, you want to know about the surrounding community, this is the place where you can learn a lot about the community. I came here to learn about some of the artistry that I do. There was an exhibit, and I always like to talk to Pam, and Pam would say, you know, we got a Buffalo Soldier exhibit. I wonder if you could tell the little children about the female Buffalo Soldier. I said, what? Female Buffalo Soldier? Before it was over with, I had a uniform. I stood on this stage, and I continued to have my rifle in my hand, and I had those little kindergarten children just looking at me. And then I got on the Mississippi Humanities Council Speakers Bureau to go around the state and tell others about Diane Williams, the female Buffalo Soldier. Now, many of you might say, well, Diane, we haven't seen you in your uniform. Well, I done outgrew it. I'm just going to say a few short things. I could really stand here and talk forever, but let me just tell y'all a few things. I'm married to a country boy. My husband's Ray Williams in the back. We live on a little farm. He raises cows. And my husband saw the article in the newspaper. He keeps me humble. He keeps me very humble, feet on the ground, because he called me when he read the article. And Ray said, now, Diane, I got some beaver pelt in the closet. And I'm willing to negotiate with you for those pelts. Put them in your quilts. And he has already probably told you about the story. I made him the black and white quilt out there. And he said he hasn't slept under it yet. But when I was 12 years old, my foster father purchased a little sewing machine, and they have it in one of the rooms here. It still works. I still sew with that sewing machine. My foster father took me around the corner to Mr. Lambert's tailor shop. My foster father couldn't teach me how to sew. He was an elder at the time. The day I was born, he was an elder. But he took me to Mr. Lambert's. Mr. Lambert showed me how to sew meticulously. And so the first things I started sewing was during the 60s. I made my foster daddy a dashiki so he could raise his hand and say Black Power. But you know what? He didn't need no dashiki. He had been a self-employed businessman from the time he was a teenager. He didn't have to raise his fist in the air because he was the ultimate Black Power. The day I was born, he picked me up in his own taxi cab. But I thought he needed a dashiki. So that's how I started. As time went on, and I don't even know how many quilts I've made over the years, I didn't keep track. I just didn't know I needed to. I didn't understand that it would be considered an art because in the 60s and 70s, they didn't call it art. I almost got angry to find out that I missed a lifetime of creating art because what women did was considered utility quilts for the bed. And we would hold the quilts and say this is an heirloom and not hold the woman up in esteem. So I put the quilts and fabrics down. But then I met very proud women here in Mississippi. Wynn McGee, she's here tonight, who quilted and created art. And I loved watching the intimate details. I watched the Rhonda Blassing game, another quilt, creating art. Martha Ginn. And everything they shared with me, they didn't show me how to do their stitches, but they encouraged me to keep on and to keep on quilting. Then I met artists in the community. Well, I guess I've always known all the artists in the community. And we started collaborating. You all, when you look at collaboration, you have to look at it as economic development, enterprise. The frames, I think Charles Freeman is still here. He made the frames. I paid him to make frames for me. That's keeping an artist working. We have to honor our artists. We don't want them to just give up everything they have. Samuel McCain on the Laughing River, he drew the image. So it's an exchange between artists, but it's also a collaboration. Certainly we could have collaborated for free, but I believe in honoring our artists, our musicians. They're worthy. They're so ingenious with their originality and creativity. So those are, and then Cookie Davis, who made the actual paper clay faces. But I love to sew, I love to crochet, I love to knit, anything to do with fibers and mixed media, straw and beads. I will hold beads in my mouth at the airport. And I'm traveling, I like to work small with little pieces of fabric. And I'll have the beads in my mouth, and oh God, you should see the person sitting next to me, wondering what in the world is she doing? And I take the little beads out and sew one at a time. One at a time. People say, how long does it take you to make that or this? I steal time. I steal time. Now let me tell you a quick story from one of the quilts. When you first come into the room where you see my image, and a lot of you have been talking to me, there's an image of a vessel. That vessel, that porridge, that children's porridge bowl has a lot of significance to me. Because there's a story where there was a rich woman. She had lots of money, but she had no children. Around her, she saw her neighbors with little children, and she wished that she could just have one. There was a neighbor down the road, way down the road, that she would often see the children playing. And she just told her husband, oh, if that woman would give me one of those children, I would be blessed if I could have one of those babies. So her husband told her to go down there, talk to the woman. Maybe she would take some money and give you one of her children. So the rich woman went down and she talked to the woman. The woman said, I'm a little bit busy right now. Would you mind having a seat? Here, drink some tea. And she watched as this poor woman with about 7 children, and there's 7 beads on that vessel representing the children. The woman had 7 holes on the floor. The woman took the vessel and poured the porridge into each of the holes on the floor, and she called her children. Her children got down on their knees, leaned down, and they each slurped the soup from the hole. They were so poor, she didn't have 7 bowls for those babies. And then the children had finished, and they went about their play. And the woman just asked the rich woman to wait one moment. She put her hands together and she said, Lord, if I had just one more child. And then she drank the leftover juice that the children left. The rich woman took the money she had and she gave it to the poor woman, and she said, thank you. I have learned much here today. The poor woman said, well, what did you want? And she said, no, I came to bring you something. And she left. So that's the story of the first piece that you see. One more quick story. The Laughing River. There are two people, a group of people that live on each side of the river. Some of the people live up in the mountains, the others play around the river. The river winds between the two villages of people, the Fungi people and the Alafia people. The Alafia people are always singing, la, 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 Alafia, la. And the Fungi people did not like this singing. Now, the Alafia people, they sang while they made their boats. They sang while they made their drums. Oh, they sang while they did their work. The Fungi people, they were people that could run fast, throw far, and jump high. But they were competitive, so they would say to one another, I can jump higher than you, I can run faster than you, I can throw further than you. And they would bicker. At night, when they would try to sleep, the Alafia people were singing themselves to sleep. And so the chief of the Fungi people said, we must cross the river. We must ambush and kill those people. They're making too much noise. And so at night, they snuck down out of the mountains and they put their foot in the river. And when they did, they started laughing and laughing. And the Alafia people came out of their huts. They said, we greet you with our minds. We greet you with our hearts. We greet you with our lips. And we have no weapons. It is a story